how sustainability in a macro level. In fact, I was part of a panelist talking about sustainability again and GenAI applications in clinical studies, research areas with some of my co-panelists from research areas and few corporate panelists. And it was very interesting. It was very free flow. Here, I was told that I will have to take a plenary session. So I have to prepare. In this area of pharmaceutical and life sciences that have to think about sustainability. And also sustainability has been appearing in one of the primary goals in the UN, United Nations, for pharmaceutical companies. So this is very important to understand the need of the hour. So what do we do when we know that it's a problem? So we start strategizing. Okay. And in strategy, some of the common strategy you would have thought of circular economy. What does circular economy means? Recycle, reuse. Can the companies, industries start reuse plastics, for example, while producing medicines? Can the medicines be more customized so then there is no large scale creation or manufacture of generic medicines? Can it be customized and focused for patient specific needs? So then the production will be very limited and it will reduce wastage in the earth. So then we also strategize about end-to-end supply chain visibility. So what is meant by supply chain visibility? That in the supply chain, right from research to drug discovery to drug manufacturing, if in the entire cycle we are able to understand monitor where exactly emissions are happening, we can then, so if it is visible, if we know, then only we can address it and reduce it and prevent the loss. Sustainable sourcing. Sourcing from raw materials which are most sustainably procured. Digital transformation, that is where we come into the picture. I belong to IBM, the IT company. How we can digitize a lot of the activities within a pharmaceutical company. That will reduce manual intervention, that will reduce paperwork. Most importantly, paperwork. And then we focus on strategy that everybody is applying. And from our point of view, we are a service company. We try to understand what are the different strategies our clients are looking at. And accordingly, we tailor our solutions, IT solutions, and we see how we can help them better. And all of these strategies, how do they help? Obviously, they help in cost savings. They help in regulatory compliance, which is very important in the pharmaceutical industry. It enhances. So one of the traditional benefits are always about brand reputation, competitive advantage, and long-term viability. These are like traditional goals and benefits a company goes with. But what we have seen in the trend is most of the business leaders, they are focusing on sustainability. So it is the need of the hour and they are focusing. It is no more just an added feather in their crown, but it is actually a hygiene factor. So we can see 34% of the leaders, they say, they have increased their focus on sustainability for their products and services. I would like to touch upon some of the sustainability challenges again in life sciences industry, in the pharmaceutical industry. They come under these ESG goals, which are aligned with the UN SDG goals. So they come under the three pillars of environment, social, and governance. In environmental challenges, it is very obvious, like high resource consumptions, energy consumptions, large quantities of packaging waste, intensive paper-driven processes. So these are some of the common things which are ongoing right now, the challenges which we know about. But what we are seeing in future, that the full potential of the manufacturing get achieved. Life critical drugs are not getting shipped properly. So these are some of the other challenges that are upcoming and that needs to be tackled. Similarly, in the social aspect, where we say that pharma companies should ensure there is access to medicine to every strata of the society. So access is a big issue. Data protection and privacy is a big issue. Workers working in these industry, counterfeit drug in circulation, avoiding fake drugs. Now, what is coming up and what the challenges is coming up is the supply chain transparency, again, as I said, to survey for human rights violation. So again, we have to be transparent. We were talking about visibility. So unless we know in the supply chain who all are involved, how much is the impact, whether we can measure those wastages, that's very important. And that's where we can create efficiencies. Thirdly, and not the least, is governance. And governance challenges only the existing challenges, mostly people are talking about, they're rigorous, there's too many compliance, one has to follow, HIPAA, FDA, GXP, every pharma company, or they need to follow all these, be compliant to these things. But the challenges they have is lack of expertise, capabilities. They need very special subject matter experts to go through approvals. So any drug which is manufactured or created after the discovery and they have to apply for patent, they have to go through a various amount of documentation and process and approvals. And to get those approvals, you need high-end researchers, scholars, them go through each of the materials, various documentations, clinical trials, and not only just do the trial, but actually see them, process them, approve them. So how do we create efficiency around them? So that's where, we have examples from some of our clients that we have been doing. For example, for GSK, we are doing a project where we look at their documents and we try to use GenAI to see whether it can help summarize big documents into small paragraphs that can help the approver approve the document. So what happens is, if we want the approvers to go through the documents, it will take months. They will go through each and every document. They have to read through it. They have to also create summary themselves and then say, okay, they approve it. So we have to, in embedding GenAI as a part of the solution, we have deployed it using Microsoft Azure in partnership with Microsoft, where these amounts of documents, they get summarized very easily in a way that the approver can have the first cut in a more efficient manner. There are challenges of being accurate, how accurate the GenAI model is coming in. So in pharma industry, it is very important to be, language has to be correct. It has to be compliant. And that's why even when we were creating the solution, it was a co-partnered where the SMEs of the our client were involved heavily in understanding what we are prompting, what is the input we are doing to our models. Some of the market trends in life sciences and pharmaceutical industry pertaining to sustainability. I know this is a very wordy slide. Just wanted to touch upon it because there are so many aspects to sustainability that we need to focus on right now. Um, um, and each of them have certain trends. I'll just pick up one or two for our knowledge and also to understand things better. For example, let's see, maybe I can ask the audience, which aspect should I pick up? Pretty. So there are aspects like manufacturing, circular packaging, supply chain transparency, waste management. Okay, so we just talking about, let's say, circular packaging. We are talking about green packaging. It is going to reach this green packaging as a industry is going to reach around $280 billion by 2025, which is like next year. So already a lot of work is happening around all these. These are some trends which are happening. It is a reality, and companies are focusing on keeping their process transparent and reducing the wastage. So amongst the top technologies that are getting used amongst this industry are analytics, AI, cloud, automation, IoT. So by analytics, even before AI, I know AI is the buzzword and we are all talking about AI in this conference, but we would analytics is something that is ongoing. It is more like monitoring and reporting ESG goals, environmental, social goals, because unless you measure uh, and track, you would not even know where you are going wrong. So the continuous measuring and tracking is what analytics is involving, visualizing the right essence of your organization is what we are saying analytics. So that still leads as the top technology that is required to be in the to meet your sustainable goals. Then comes cloud, so that your data is in private cloud. So when we are talking about privacy, data protection, and patient protection, it is essential to while we have to also use cloud, but there are options about using private cloud rather than public cloud. Private cloud will ensure some privacy. The security is very important, compliant to security. So, automating even the security of a cloud is a key to sustainability. So, what happens in applications and technology applications? So, I guess everybody knows about AWS cloud or the Google cloud or the Microsoft cloud of the world. Now, each of these cloud people, organizations would want to use the clouds and they would want to have applications around it. But when these applications are there, how secure are they? Is your data leaking from these applications or not? Is it password protected? Are the logs cleared? Now, these kind of things are questions which comes to your mind, but there is always a standard, like there are cloud compliance standards, which have as much as 17 domains, as much as 100 controls in place. Now, how to ensure these controls are being adhered to, in the data that is being used to harness an analytics. So there itself, in fact, our company is using Gen AI to ensure that automatically these applications are checked on all those security issues, and those gets popped up before even having somebody like a again go through it manually and have any leakage. So that is around privacy and protection of patient data. It's very important. Automation is a lot of processes need to be automated. Removal of paper, IoT, holistic solutions. So a lot of companies we are hearing from them, and this is what they're saying. People at Lilly, Johnson and Johnson, Merck, all of them talk about how they are investing in sustainability. For example, Merck in December 2021 decided to have a sustainability bond of $1 billion. This is Novartis is doing some innovations. GSK, 40% of the company's carbon footprint sits within the supply chain. So supply chain is always the biggest contributor of emissions and gas for a pharmaceutical company. That is where they want to focus first. So what are the sustainability opportunities in life sciences? This is how we look at all our clients. Again, in these areas of manufacturing, let's say manufacturing process optimization. 3D printing is big because why would 3D printing is big? So 3D printing actually reduces cost. It reduces wastage, creates medicines which are tailored to a patient again. So moving away from mass production of medicines to having very specific for specific diseases and specific patient medicines. So that's why 3D printing is inevitably helping towards the sustainable goals. In supply chain is something which is traditional analytics. It's not even AI, but do we really do it well? Are we doing it well? Are we adhering to the forecast, or are we going by there are a lot of wastage of medicines. Of course, waste management has a lot of opportunities like digitization of manual processes, reduction of paper usage. AI also speeds up drug development process, which will eventually help in lowering the price of the drugs. So because if you reduce the time to create a drug, which can take years, and if you reduce it by having these efficiency, instead of taking years to produce a drug, it will come down, and that will help save cost. Some examples I would like to take you through. This is in the area of compliance. So there's something called Drug Supply Chain Security Act. And being compliant to that act is very cumbersome exercise for this pharmacy, which is National Association of Boards of Pharmacy in America. And they wanted to understand how they can digitize some of their aspects. So we have used blockchain, and we have created a platform for them called Pulse, which actually enables the users, whoever is using the portal or signed up, to share their prescription drugs and the ownership of the transaction records. And this gives again the visibility. So it is basically digitizing the entire thing, and then it will help them being compliant to that digital drug supply chain act. This was in partnership with Amazon, AWS, which is a cloud provider. So IBM along with AWS created this platform. So a British multinational pharmaceutical company, I mean, this is something which is ongoing, where we are suggesting a solution around ESG roadmap, having a digital strategy and roadmap for them. you can see that, the idea is to have different aspects of their transportation, logistics, uh, track them, record them, and find out pockets where scope 3 GHG transmissions are high. Okay. So yeah, so on. We'll have more examples. Here we have a solution called, we have a name for it, and NYZ. NYZ helps in monitoring ESG goals, environmental goals. The matrix, it helps understand the standards, how deviated it is, whether we are going too low or too high. Um, the aim of this project was to have decrease the scope 1 and 2 greenhouse gas emissions. This was for scope 1 and 2 gas emissions, and it actually did help them to decrease it by more than 21% in 1 year. Examples like Medtronics. You will be surprised. Now it's a diagnostic company. Of course, we will also tackle supply chain. But here, the first step we took was with the HR, having the right skills and the right people for their organization. So there also we are using. So of course, it is ultimately you will think it's HR, but it is helping them reduce cost and benefit efficiency. SAP is a platform enterprise solution, top enterprise solution. So we do a lot of work around SAP. And when we do it for pharmaceutical companies, it aligns with their sustainable goals. And hence, this is one example where it was deployed and how it is being used. Back to the fact that how important it is, we are not just talking about it. It is not a hype. That sustainability has to be incorporated in embedded in life sciences industry. It is actually reality. Like J&J is using synthetic patient data, right? So instead of recruiting patients, for a lot of research, you have to recruit patients. It can be socially unethical. It can increase cost. It increases cost. It increases time to discovery. They are actually using now synthetic patient data and moving on with the drug experiments and research, clinical trials. Similarly, in silico medicine, clinical stage they're using GenAI. It is very domain in small molecule inhibitor for the treatment of cancer using structure-based generative chemistry approach. Startling and important to see that what they are anticipating is Gartner is anticipating 30% of the new drugs could be discovered using generative AI by 2025, which is so next year we would because it would be part of it is already part of our reality. Some trends. So if you see, I spoke about overall the need for sustainability, the challenges of the life sciences industry in areas of environment and social and governance, some market trends in overall, and how technology in each of these areas of manufacturing, waste management, recycle, circular economy, what are the kind of solutions we are helping our clients with, examples. And specifically, I just wanted to end the session with the generative AI because that's where a lot of the work is coming. I wanted to tie up with life sciences industry and see the trend. And these are some of the trends that how the market of global generative AI in pharma is emerging, and we see this is a steady increase. 31% during the forecast period of 2023 to 2032. So 30% increase we see the use of Gen AI, and right from small fireflies projects like small automations to big automations. So amongst the various stages in the life cycle of a drug discovery and clinical trials, the usage is, the application is the most. 45% is in drug discovery, followed by clinical trials. America is the largest revenue share in generative AI. Asia Pacific is expected to be a fastest growing one and in projected period. Actually comes to an end to my session. There were a lot of facts, and it is again, as I said, a macro view of what's happening, why it's happening. And that brings us to the session where we would want to ask questions to the audience. Shall I go ahead with that? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Comprehensive overview of AI and its impact on life sciences and pharmaceutical industry. You mentioned in between AI-driven scale-up, startups, AI-driven startups. You mentioned about that.
Startups.
Yeah. For young minds, in a very simple way, can you tell them what is this AI-driven?
Did I mention? So sorry, ma'am, I didn't. Probably you need
Yeah.
startups.
It was in the second slide or something like that. Second last slide or something.
This one?
No. Go back. Go back. Yeah, this one. Recent research identified over 270 companies working in AI-driven drug discovery. But also small AI-driven startups. So I really wanted you to explain this for the young minds. What is this? Because this is the future, they are the people who can really do this. Yeah.
So I would like to say that traditionally, because you would always think that pharma companies, a lot of our clients, they're having their own data science teams within the research wing also. So R&D division, as I said, I have also worked a lot with the sales and marketing, because sales and marketing have a lot of budgets, right? 70% of the drug investment happens in sales and marketing, but there's R&D also. The R&D division is huge in big pharmaceutical companies. Now, within R&D department, what we are noticing is they are hiring AI experts because they need these efficiency division. But when we are talking about startups, biopharma companies and also can startups. So I think as young minds and young people, instead of joining big companies, they can have a startups and think about focusing on the technology aspect. And because you're rich in domain knowledge, your knowledge about the pharma world and pharmaceutical, my thing is pharmaceutical industry is so domain extensive, and it needs people with the domain knowledge. Industry like retail, industry like finance and risk, it is easy to learn and pick up on the job. But pharmacy, healthcare is requires more knowledge, domain knowledge. You can't make mistakes because it's to do with the health of company person. You know, even when you are discovering drugs, the efficacy of the drug cannot be. It has cannot deal with false negatives or things like that. So pharmaceutical students studying pharmacy and matching with technology can actually do startups, because then they would know exactly where to create these solutions which will help in pharmacy supply chain. And then they can help the big companies. I think that's where we are saying the biopharma companies are coming up with the AI-driven startups, because when a pharmacy student learns technology, they can easily just create a solution and larger companies. Then the larger companies, they don't need to have their own, AI engineers. That's where I think there's opportunity for
I have
pharma students.
one more concern. It's not a concern. I just want your comment on how is IBM helping pharmaceutical industry in terms of sustainability? Has it done something or they are planning?
So they are aligning their goals with the sustainable goals of the company. As I told you, the solutions what we bring are usually about saving costs. And there are these examples, as I said, about reducing wastage in the clinical, especially in the R&D department. So those are leading to sustainable goals. And what is specifically IBM is doing is this example. Maybe you missed out these ones. There's a solution called IBM NYZ. So solution itself, the solution is called IBM NYZ. It's catered to monitor ESG goals. So all companies, they have these ESG goals, sustainable goals, environmental, social goals, and this solution is catered for that.
Thank you. I loved your concept of reducing waste is equal to sustainable. That is wonderful out there.
Thank you.
It's now audience time. Request ma'am to please ask 3 questions in total to the audience.
Okay. It's around. What is the relationship, let's say, about challenge or relationship of life sciences industry with automobile industry? Does life sciences industry compare with automobile industry in terms of pollution?
Whosoever knows the answer can come forward.
Subjective or you can there are some figures I had mentioned, but you can give an idea. How are they related? Why did I compare automobile industry with pharmaceutical industry?
Is 3 times greater than the pharmaceutical industry. But the pharmaceutical industry is producing 13 times more carbon emission than the automobile one.
Excellent. She got the numbers correct.
Very good. So we would request you to please come forward after the questions are done, right?
I couldn't see you. Oh, there she is.
Next question, ma'am.
Name 2 areas where one can achieve sustainable goals in the value chain of a life sciences industry. Or maybe the top 2 right now, how the world is investing and working on.
ma'am. Yeah, there is one. We have some.
Yes. Yes.
First can be the waste reduction, and the second one can be comparing with the social and economic goals which a company.
Okay. So that is one way of looking at it. But what I meant in the value chain is like the or the aspects of a life industry of R&D, drug discovery, which are the top two areas people are trying to achieve sustainable goals.
Search and review.
So it is R&D and drug discovery. Yeah. That's it. Still, you were close. Yeah. Thank you. Third question. Which is the top area of technology which is being used or which is being applied by business leaders and in life sciences industry? Top two.
So we have many hands now.
Yeah, I think two hands there. Yeah.
Top one being the analyst,
Analytics, yeah.
analytics, and the second one is cloud.
AI.
AI is lesser than cloud. The cloud is
Cloud was more. Okay, thanks for correcting me then. Good.
Thank you so much, ma'am. All three of you can please come forward. We would like to felicitate three of you, please. You can mention your name and college. You can come here. Request the chair and co-chair and speaker to please felicitate her. Please mention your name and institute's name also.
This is College of Pharmacy, Noida.
Congratulations, Ruchi. Next. Your name and institute's name.
My name is Munir Rahman Siddiqui, and I pursued Bachelor in Pharmacy from Jamia Ahmedabad. I'm doing MBA in Pharmaceutical Management from Jamia Ahmedabad.
Congratulations.
So was my
Congratulations to you.
Karthik Malav. I'm pursuing Bachelor in Pharmacy from University Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, UIPR, City of Kota, Rajasthan.
Congratulations. Chair to please conclude the session.
Yeah, I think it was a wonderful session, and the proof is the audience are so reactive and they answer all the three queries raised by the speaker. So that shows the ability of the speaker to translate, to transfer the knowledge from her presentation, and they really absorb the new concept of AI and sustainability. I think thank you. I must congratulate our speaker for a wonderful and very informative talk, and this is what I think I request them to felicitate the speaker.
We request Pathak ma'am also to please speak.
Already talked so much, but yes, it was a wonderful session. And while I was going through your slides, I was wondering कि इतना कुछ हो रहा है और इतना कुछ सीखने को है. So बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला भी आपसे आज. And I hope कि जो आपका session है वो it is like transformed their minds And what caught my attention, I already asked you the small AI driven scale up.
Yeah.
And one
Yeah.
thing which I think which will be very useful in future for the students. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
You know,
ma'am.
ma'am, it's always good to know what catches people's eye and especially field. So we also get to know that okay, this is something that is more to be focused.
Thank you so much. I would now request session chair and session co-chair to please felicitate Ms. Das. A round of applause, everybody. Session chair, Dr. Farhan Jalis. Can we have a big round of applause? Big round of applause, please. We would like ma'am to felicitate Professor Kamla Pathak. Big round of applause, everybody. We would also like to felicitate Professor Devinder Pathak, Dean Rajiv Academy for Pharmacy, Mathura, Uttar Pradesh. So may we please have you on stage? Can we have a big round of applause, everybody? Please. Sir and ma'am, and would so much. Shall be soon starting our next panel, panel 1. So we are starting with panel 1. Artificial intelligence has a groundbreaking role in revolutionizing healthcare and pharmaceuticals. From drug discovery and precision medicine to supply chain optimization and patient care, AI is driving innovation, enhancing efficiency, and fostering sustainability. It has unlocked unprecedented opportunities, shaping a more resilient and accessible pharmaceutical future. So the topic for today's session will be on unlocking the future of pharmaceutical industry, AI-based transformations, which will be moderated by Dr. Neetu Kamra, Professor and Head Executive Education Program and Center of Data Analytics and AI Initiatives, Lloyd Business School. We would take just 2 minutes to resume the session. So would like everybody to patiently wait for. Request everybody to remain seated and shall start in 2 minutes. and Technology to please come on stage to welcome our panelist. May I call upon Mr. Raman Kumar Khepar, Senior Director, Global Marketing, Jubilant Biosys Limited. Mr. Raman Kumar Khepar. So we'll wait. Okay. Our next panelist on board is Ms. Meenal Bhatt, Managing Director, Craftland Consults Private Limited. Ms. Meenal has 20 plus years of experience in corporate strategy, strategic planning, and business cases. As a healthcare consultant, she has worked across companies and therapy areas. She is a part of the team that has set up the Asia Pacific Analytics Center, supporting 14 countries for Johnson & Johnson Medical. Ms. Meenal is a recipient of the OTW Award, the highest award within the Asia Pacific region. I would like to invite Ms. Parul Nain, Deputy General Manager, Regulatory Medical Writing, Sun Pharma Industry Limited. Ms. Parul has 17 plus years of experience in regulatory medical writing and has worked in different roles for global pharmaceutical companies and contract research organizations. She is well versed with authoring and reviewing all regulatory medical writing documents. We would like to invite Mr. Raman Kumar Khepar, Senior Director, Global Marketing, Jubilant Biosys Limited. Mr. Khepar is an accomplished international marketing professional with 26 plus years of experience in the healthcare sector. With a strategic and structured approach, Mr. Khepar offers data-driven solutions to overcome challenges. In his most recent role before joining Jubilant, he served as the Associate Vice President and Head of Marketing for International Business at Cadila Pharmaceuticals. I would like to invite Mr. Sudhanshu Sharma, Training Manager, Abbott India Limited. Over 21 years of experience in pharma, Mr. Sudhanshu has been a consistent learner for last 9 years as a trainer. He has worked with leading national and international MNCs in sales, people development, and sales training. I would like to invite Mr. Asim Kumar Datta, Senior Packaging Consultant, Delhi, and ex-head Packaging Development, Jubilant Life Sciences. Mr. Asim is a packaging professional, having more than 30 years of industrial experience in converter, FMCG, food and pharmaceuticals industry. He is also associated as a faculty with reputed institutes. The moderator of the session will be Dr. Neetu Kamra, Professor and Head Executive Education Program and Center of Data Analytics and AI Initiatives, Lloyd Business School. She holds a doctorate in HR and analytics and has over 18 years of experience in both corporate and academic settings. So we welcome all of you and over to the session.
So the time clicks 12. I think we are beyond 12. Yeah, 1:38. That fosters us to be faster for this session. A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries from the industry, academia, the faculty, and the dear students. I'm sure you've had some of the most enriching talks in the day today. I look forward to this session to be another learning session where you all can vibrate the pharma and analytics coming together through the excellence of AI. So to begin with, I will just like to quote that it is very easy to have thousands of prescriptions, but very difficult to get one remedy. And the beauty of the God benign who sits upstairs is that pharmacy resides in each one of us, because the biggest pharmacist is we ourselves, the human system that has been created by the God. So I feel that artificial intelligence and technology today could enable this thought perspective of mind talking to human with the help of data and other IoT devices, which would enable the functioning of the human system that has been powered by the source of sustenance and life, that is top. So keeping that as an enabler of talking today, I believe that for every doctor who works hard, there is humongous amount of effort given by pharmacists. And pharmacists, if today are enabled by data-centric knowledge of innovation and creativity, This would be a legendary experience to enable future aspirations of growth and sustainability. On this note, I welcome all the dignitaries and the plethora and the wide spectrum of lineage that each one of them carries will vibrate through synergy of thoughts today. So I would begin with Mr. Kirpa sir, that sir, you have a lineage of marketing as an ability, and you have gone through a lot of lineage of experience in terms of marketing, being the head leader for marketing. How do you feel that artificial intelligence would be able to convince, or how confidently would you as a marketing head be able to go to the consumers if artificially enabled drugs are given to the people to get better? So how convinced are you that AI will empower you as a marketing leader to give out better resources in terms of drugs to the audience or to the people?
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
I think the question which you just raised is basically about AI, how this AI can help you convince the patient that this medicine, which has been created using AI, is right.
Thank you.
So in marketing, I think what is most important is there are three things, right? One, you need a customer. Second, you need a product. The third, you need a communication, the message, right? So if you apply these three pillar of strategy to convince a customer or a patient, I think you can 100% achieve success. Now, the most important is when you talk to a patient or a customer or a doctor, I mean, if you understand what is the need gap, right? What is the gap you're trying to fill up? And if you understand the customer need, that's the first step. The second is if your drug is whether it's AI driven or let me be very honest with you, there's nothing called AI driven drug discovery. AI is just an enabler, right? Ultimately, this is the compound, the protein, the structure, and everything which works together. So the drug which has been AI is just helping to accelerate the process of drug development, right? It's making the speed of drug coming out of the lab to the market as a faster process. So coming to answering your question, I think it's very important to understand the need. Then what exactly you go and tell the customer about the medicine, how this medicine is going to be impactful for the customer. I think that's a second step. And I think it's very important to understand when you promote something, when you say the benefit of a drug to a patient or a customer, it's very important to keep it in mind that what is there in it for them, because they will look at what is inside for me, which I can take it from them. The third one is the message, which I just said just now. It has to be customized, right? It has to be the customer based. Now, if tomorrow you do, I mean, for example, I'm taking another industry example. If you search for a t-shirt on Amazon, right? If you don't like t-shirt, maybe next day, you will get multiple options coming on your way, right? That's a power of AI. They understand this is the customer need. They will show you the t-shirt only, right? Now just imagine you have identified that you want to buy a t-shirt, but next day they show you shoes. They come out with something which you are not even looking for. So there's a misconnect. There's a disconnect between the customer need and the message you get. I think probably these three things, if you can take it, then still you can convince.
Thank you, sir, for giving us the outside view. Moving on to my next dignitary, Ms. Meenal. Sir talked about the perspective of outside approach. You being a technical consultant who's working towards the development of so many platforms for pharma industry in terms of technology, what do you think are your opportunities and challenges being a developer for pharma industry in terms of technology?
Thanks. More than a developer for technology, I see as an Indian the opportunities. There's one aspect of AI, the way that it's developed today. The second aspect of ABDM, when we bring it, what the digital mission is trying to do for us. And the third aspect, when as a consultant, I work across companies, I see equitable healthcare for India is not there when we see IP protected products. Now, when we put all these pieces of the puzzle together, there's ABDM, which is going to hopefully help us with the vast, good quality data, our genotype that we need for our people. There is AI, which is helping us reduce the time to drug discovery. We are a resource limited country. And if this time gets cut, we will be able to do our own research, creating products for our own people in India for India. And that's the opportunity I see. About India made paracetamol. I'm talking about India made IP protected products because now the resource requirement is lesser for doing research, hardcore research. I view that there's still time for it, but I really see that as our future, and our children.
I will take on with Mr. Asim. How do you, in terms of packaging, which is logistics management for medicines,
The integral part of the product is production and physical. This definition, I just give the answer of the distribution logistics, yes. In different places of distribution from one place to another. Suppose we are exporting a particular drug. So it is directly going from India to African countries or European countries or even America or some. So there are either it is a direct shipment, generally doesn't happen, but in shipments are certainly in those directly. But it might happen that in some of the places, in various places of it is stored and in that way. So there are enormous possibilities that there could be some sort of counterfeiting the drugs, which is the very biggest challenge the pharmaceutical industry is just facing right now. So rather than making a green logistic pattern like AI will give you the what kind of will be there, what kind of location is there, what is the most convenient way to proceed. So these are all will give you the ultimately to reduce the carbon footprint. So obviously it is environmental factors. But as far as the counterfeiting is the biggest challenge that pharmaceutical industry is facing globally. You will all be surprised to know that the global pharmaceutical business growth is $100 billion every year. Per year, $100 billion is the growth, not the quantity of business. And 10% of that is counterfeit drugs flooding around. Just imagine what is the quantum of counterfeit is going around. तो ये सोचे समझे सारी deliberately. There are many reasons because time is very short. I'm not going to discuss all those things. But this counterfeit, I will give a little bit background. For last 4 decades, a lot of technologies has come for this, counterfeit to handle this particular challenge facing by the global pharmaceutical pattern. So, so many technology has been implemented time to time. I'll mention some of the things like that. Suppose the DNA matrix technologies, you put an optical level of DNA in your coating matrix or even in your printed packaging material. So that is an identifiable DNA, plant DNA. So immediately when some counterfeit is there and I was challenged, and you so that you can go there and with your inspection device, which is the covert technology. So you can certainly identify this is it's not my product or this is somewhere. There are many things have come up. The hologram. That would be some normal hologram. you can imitate that. But latest technology was there, that is the electron beam hologram. So that was given in that. I mean, that has been implemented. The electron beam hologram is such a technology, you can create a micro relief pattern where this or embedded, all the information can be embedded with that micro relief pattern, and which can be spotted on a three-dimensional nano space. So that technology is very difficult to imitate. So that will give you the several aspects or several types of this e-beam holographic is that it could be a floating and sinking image, that could be in a concealed image that can give you some image which is just in the things I have been practiced. After that, laser surface authentication, then takes I mean micro tag, I mean particularly the silicon chips can build some data. And that silicon chip wafers, that is like edible. So you can put it in your portfolio as well as you can put it in a digital pack or something like that. AI can help. Suppose the data that I need click on the history and this AI give you the data, the history of the data embedded in the system. They will give you this is the population, this is the possible alternative. Now see. And second thing in logistic pattern, as I already said, that the most convenient way to transport the material from one place to another. Last, but question is, in spite of, I mean, incorporating so many beautiful and innovative technologies, which I mentioned few, but there are many others also. But still, the counterfeit is still going on. So that is the biggest challenge. How to address it? Now, question is the latest technology which was US FDA was just pursuing for last 15-20 years. That is your serialization. Each and every, like a blister pack, and then suppose there is a parent-child aggregation and serial number have been given. A specific numerical code, alphanumerical code will have to give to each and every unit pack, the intermediate pack, then bulk pack, and the shipper pack in the pallets everywhere. So in the when it is transported from India to some distant country or USA, so in the port also, when it's coming out in the ship, immediately he can scan it and immediately he will be able to understand that particular material is from India, this is their location, this is their batch number, this is their something like that. So in all the fields that AI can do an excellent contribution for this thing, for speed up the system and as well as this thing. But still the information has come that there are some counterfeiting is still going on in spite of doing all those things. But the latest technology, I'll just for 2 minutes. Latest technology, time is very short. It takes hours together to discuss. But latest technology is the blockchain technology, which has been discussed in several forums, international forum also. The blockchain technology, which is distributed information in different blocks and then lined up with the chain system. So that is going to be the latest one, and many companies are coming up with the help of other technology provider like Amazon, like IBM also. So this blockchain technology is coming up. But still, if AI is integrated to this blockchain technology, it is going to be massive. Advantage that to AI and integrated with the blockchain technology is the ultimatum probably as of date. As of date, this is the ultimatum to avoid counterfeiting. But last not the least, I'll say there is a saying that the innovators, the counterfeiters are smarter than innovators. Counterfeiters are smarter than innovators. So, but as per all the research, all this experimentation, all this development, all this brainstorming session, this is the ultimatum. That's AI integrated to blockchain system, blockchain management system will be the ultimatum. As of date, that is the latest and last solution for to avoid counterfeiting. I don't know tomorrow.
That was insight. Moving on, Ms. Parul. If I were to ask you about AI and clinical trials and research, would you be able to highlight the synergy between the two? How AI is empowering it? Sure. All right. So thank you, Dr. Neeti, for asking that question. So there are multiple AI-enabled drugs which are in clinical trials right now. So when you talk clinical research, it majorly clinical trials take the major picture out of it. So there are multiple AI drugs. To name a few, Sharmila just mentioned in the previous slide, what she was presenting in silico medicine. So they have come up with the INS 015 18 drug. It's for idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis drug, and it's in the late phase 2 trials right now. They have used, she did mention chemistry 24 and other platforms in the early drug discovery. So in the clinical trials, there are multiple, and I would say more than 100 drugs which are currently based on AI technology, and they are into clinical trials. It is helpful, when we talk of AI-driven technology in clinical trials, it is helping at each and every stage of clinical trial, right from the site feasibility. When I say site feasibility, means you are trying to find out a site where you can recruit maximum of your patients. Patient recruitment, somebody has already touched upon this in the morning session. Then talking about the the conduct of the clinical trial, it makes you more efficient at every stage. Treatment compliance, it does increase the treatment compliance. One of the friends talk about the personalized medication. So you, of course, dose and dosage regimen can also be predicted with the help of AI technologies. Now, once the clinical trial is done, of course, there is adherence. Treatment adherence can also be made more efficient with the use of, and there are multiple AI assisted tools, which are available in the market. To name a few, like Deep Lens, Deep 6 AI, and who are developing these, the small startups, which one of the friends recently mentioned in the morning sessions. So these are AI driven, the platform companies, the startups, like to name a few, like BioAccelerate. This is one of the company who's based on the providing the AI solutions to major pharma giants like Merck, Johnson and Johnson. There are companies like I would say BioNova. Then there are hundreds of small AI-driven platform companies to which the sponsor companies like Merck, Johnson and Johnson, Novartis, Eli Lilly, they are tying up and they are promoting their clinical research. Now, once the clinical trial is over, now comes the picture of the medical writing, where I am an expert of. I have been working on multiple documents of regulatory medical writing. So there also, we basically write documents for the clinical trials, let it for the start of the trial, and when the trial ends, we prepare the report, we do submissions and submit it to the health authority. So the amount of time which we take in writing those documents, that can be easily cut short with the help of AI-driven tools. Industries are working on that. So 80% of the first draft of the document can be given to you by an AI-assisted tools. The ones which are in market right now, there are Quilt Bolt, Word Tune. These are some of the AI tools which AI assistant tools, which of course in manuscript, and of course you're using a lot of tools there. But these are some, which when you search on literature, you will find number of AI assisted tools which the companies are developing, and these are being utilized into the medical writing. Now, once the documents are ready, it goes to the health authorities for the submission, which the regulatory department of any company does. There also, AI is being helping, the reviewers to review the document faster. There's collaboration of the reviewers. Somebody was talking about the prompt conversations. So it really helps in different stakeholders to give the review feedback faster. That's how it is helping. And when the drug is launched into the market, it, pharmacovigilance, where, you are monitoring the adverse event. It does help there also. There are multiple tools which are, so what these pharmacovigilance people do, they prepare the ICSR, which is individual case safety summary reports. Okay, these are nothing but if there is any adverse event in the clinical trial which meets the criteria or a certain criteria for which you write a narrative. Similarly, when the drug is in the market,
there are adverse events which is being faced by the general public. So those are also reported. Of course, it is not that done that much in India, but in US, in EU, it's a mandate, and they really report it to the regulatory authority. So those ISCRs which are being prepared, so they can be prepared faster. The AI driven, they can predict, okay, this kind of population is going to have these adverse events. They can predict it earlier. So that's what Mr. Asim just mentioned, predictive analytics. So these all are playing this role, and I'm telling you, it's like akin to moon landing. This AI-driven technology is definitely going to change the landscape of the entire drug discovery, coming from 10 to 15.
Thanks.
Yes, to
That was
5 years.
really exhaustive explanation. That's really commendable. Mr. Sudhamshana, I would like to delve upon something where the audience would also be interested. When we're talking about artificial intelligence, we're talking about a skill gap that exists between the pharma students who are sitting here waiting aloud as to what are those technologies that can help them interface into this new dynamics of job opportunities of pharma industry, which is biotech.
Absolutely. So future looks really bright when you see all these comments that drugs are coming out really faster. And then you have got clinical research, which is also done very meticulously and faster. And then, you're also putting it in practice. So future looks really bright, but unless you are able to sell that drug, right? No drug flow or no money flow would be there to make a new drug. So it is very important that, the capability is built for the sales rep and for the managers and for the pharmaceutical industry in a similar fashion. And there also we can use AI. So if you zoom out a little bit and understand that, how we are doing it currently and how it is going to be changed. So currently what we do, we recruit a person, we train them, and then there is a lot of time which is being spent on evaluating the person, preparing them for the readiness of the field so that he can face the customer, right? So all these things, and again, I am also here to share good news only, that all these things are being driven very smartly with the usage of AI. And most of the companies, right, especially, and all the companies, right, all the leading companies are using AIs in their evaluations, in also identifying where the training should go, because it's a resource, it's a expenditure, right? And if you want to spend something, definitely, this is going to come from ANPs, like budgets. So if you can make it smarter, faster, you need to do a training analysis where this training should go. So we do a scientific based training need analysis. So you use different tools. Many tools are there. LMS tools which incorporate that, for a particular manager, for a particular rep, what kind of a training should be done at the entry level or possibly at a promotional level. So this is again improving. Then, a lot of time of trainers used to be spent on making quizzes, writing content, creating content, right? If I want a specific picture also, I will go to Google or maybe Pixlr. And then, I have to download a picture for making my presentations very engaging. Now it has become very easy. If you are prompting right, you are making a very good, engaging presentations with very, you can recheck it. But of course, right now, humans are not going to be replaced, right? And again, a good news. Humans are not immediately going to replace from everywhere. So rest assured, friends, that, AI is, the phase is, AI is going to be an ally rather than a competitor. If you use and you know how to use it in a better way, I think the future look even brighter.
So we've so far discussed the perspectives of the advantages of AI in pharma industry. If I were to open the question to the panel today in terms of the negatives or the question marks, that is transparency, compliance, and data security, would you like to add in as to how AI is actually diluting the advantages or maybe uplifting from your perspectives? We're talking about transparency, data privacy, and security as three angles to AI implementation in pharma.
So I think there's a fourth angle that when we talk about the negatives of AI. I'm giving the bad news. Then junior analysts are being replaced by AI. So junior analysts are being replaced by AI. But so what needs to be done is AI becomes a base. What these children need to know today is adaptability and expertise. They need to be learning every day, like we discussed, to be able to keep up and use the tool the way it's meant to be. It will never replace humans. But the challenge, the immediate challenge for you guys is there's nobody. There's nobody to train you anymore. To spend that effort to train us. So it's a conversation I would like to have because I'm scared for the future generations of that they need to have. They need to keep learning every day.
I think I completely agree with this. One, of course, honestly, if you ask me whether should I fall into positive side or negative side, it's very difficult, right? If you are going to lose 100 jobs because of AI, trust my words, you're going to have 200 jobs on the other side, right? So what is important, how quickly we can adapt to that. But tomorrow, you know that, somebody want to have a job, profile, which is more related to a person who has skill set on AI, right? If you have pharmacy, if you have AI, you are not going to lose your job. You are going to 100% get the job. So what is important is to really understand where the trend is going. Number one. Number two, you need to learn that skill which is required to deliver that job, right? That's number two. And number three is, I think it's a continuous evolution, right? You can't say that today I am expert in AI, I got a job and I'm going to sustain for years together. No, absolutely. As I mentioned in the morning, always keep one thing in mind, what brought you here will not take you there, right? So the skill set has to continuously keep evolving, right? So coming back to the question what you asked about, how do we see that? I think GDPR is one which I have come across very frequently, especially when I promote something in Europe, right? And I have seen AI being used extensively, but there are still a lot of flaws when it comes to data accuracy. That's one area where I have come across multiple challenges, especially from Europe, and the same thing I'm facing in US as well. So probably that is one negative side where still, I personally feel that still you cannot 100% trust AI, right? You still have that 1% doubt. Okay, let me just have a glance at it, right? So that 1% takes equally same amount of time. So that's what I wanted to do.
Audible? As far as the data security or data authenticity is concerned, see, AI computer doesn't have a brain, right? Brain is created. Who creates the brain? We all. All right. So AI is basically a technical experts and all that. Basically, it is a hybrid form of program, right? And driven by or having inbuilt enormous data and information, and certainly also integrated to certain logics. So data authenticity means we all are feeding the data inside. Enormous data is required. Now, if unrealistic and not experimentally proven with facts and figures, so that data is, if it is fed, he will analyze that, and artificial intelligence will analyze those data through the algorithm, specified algorithm of the particular requirement, and we deflect that this is the things that may come out a misleading direction.
Very rightly said. It would mislead.
Mislead That's why, as far as the pharma authenticity is concerned, I say, I will analyze what is pharma, PHARMA, right? It protects our health. How it is protected by our action, PHAR, then if it is properly acted, this API acts, then we recover. Then it pharma is a meticulous measurement, and ultimately A is for the authenticity. So coming to that part of authenticity, if data feeding system is not authentic, unrealistic, and not supported by the experiential facts and figures, that can mislead, AI can mislead. That's why last stability of AI can low, but stability of the stability of the formulation and all that. Message to my student, level students. I'm an academician. I am right now. I am in the what I'm doing is that clearing the challenge for my nation and the world. So I mean that is so for your information, the stability studies can never be avoided. Aside the success, efficacy, authenticity of a drug formulated by a pharmaceutical scientist and
Yes, if I can build on this.
Sir, we have concluding statement for our discussion today.
Oh, is it? Very big task I have given once again. No, I think what you said is making really sense because there's a term in marketing, garbage in, garbage out, right? So AI can support you if the data what you feed in the system is accurate. But then coming to the question, Neetu, I mean, you ask about, negatives. I mean, the people sitting here, have you seen, how your personal data is floating on the net, right? Your phone number, your email ID, your date of birth, everything is available, man. I mean, you can't hide, right? So there are flaws in the system, but then again, I am saying it all depends on you, how you effectively use that. Number one. The second, how honestly you can use the platform or the tools to make sure it is sustainable, it's a safe, it's secure. Only then you can just, have your data privacy. Otherwise, don't expect tomorrow. People, I can tell you very honestly, in US, now in the selection process of a candidate, they scan your profile from LinkedIn and other platforms, right? So just imagine what you write on LinkedIn, for example, what post you are posting on LinkedIn is creating a profile for you automatically, right? So do you have a control? You have a control. So you have to be very careful when you put something on social media. But please don't, nobody can guarantee data privacy will be taken by AI. I think that's a concluding, madam, statement I want to make.
Just a last word of thought for the students of pharma who are sitting here, who are going to indulge into AI as an industry. Any takeaway, a liner for them?
I'll take just 1 second more. I think the message which I want to leave every audience here, especially the young students is please focus on your core, which is your pharmacy. You need to be 100% thorough with your subject knowledge because that is AI is not going to replace that. Your knowledge is with you, number one. Number two, remember your emotions, your analysis, and your what I always call interrogation of data or the fact. It still lies with you, right? So you are in control of the things, right? So please build AI as a additional skill set. Unless you have that one field which you have carved out for that I want to just go into AI, no other subject. Build it for pharmacy students. My recommendation is build AI as a supplement skill set which can help you get job in future.
Any line to
I just want to
Just one
say,
thing.
create your ABBA IDs today, link your data so that tomorrow is a better world for us.
Absolutely. Just one thing from my side that anything which is artificial cannot match the original one. You are the original one. Be there.
So on this note,
I just think See, this information is just everyone, but more specifically for the patients and the consumer of the drugs, because the sustainable development session. This seminar is only for the purpose of the system. Whenever by any means you a drug is developed and you will save yourself from taking a spurious drug from the market. That is very important, am I right? So there are a lot of things that we are communication has been developed, just want to scan that apps that give you the authenticity. Fine. But still for the consumers, I have a message. While wherever you are willing to purchase a drug, just focus on 3 P's. One is the place, one is the price, and one is the package. 3 things, you just look into it and you will certainly get the right one, giving your value.
So on this note, I think I would like to thank the dignitaries. They've given us a vibrant food for thought to take away. And I wish all the students who are present here will have had some taking to take away with the artificial intelligence reigning the world in coming times. So thank you all once again. It is the human spirit which will survive and not a drug. And this is the human spirit of coming together to share knowledge that will survive.
This time, the coordinators for the posters and oral sessions will assist you in it. On the 4th and 5th floor, participation certificates will be available